And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thomson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, hello to everyone. It is Super Bowl Sunday. That's right. It's the day that the Niners will beat the Chiefs.
This guy.
I had to do it, dude. I had
Delusional.
to. The Niners taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I love it.
All the
Not
flavors
as much
in
as
the
you
cabinet.
do, since you are a huge
Chiefs.
KC Chiefs fan.
All the flavors in the cabinet, and you chose to be fucking salty today. Son of a bitch.
Had to throw it in there, baby.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we've beaten them before in the Super Bowl, and we expected that we may see them again. Then they went out and got Christian McCaffrey, and I was like, man, there's just no way this team's not going to be a Super Bowl contender, at least at least getting there, I think. You know what scares me the most, though, and I think it's the biggest jinx ever, is fucking Drake bet on us, that son of a bitch.
Oh, dude, that's the kiss of death right
He's
there.
fucked us. We're done.
That is the kiss of death.
No fucking Mr. Pfizer or fucking Swifty's going to save us now. We're done for. We're fucking done for.
I love it.
Man, I you know what's great is I love hearing all these conspiracy theories going around. Now, there may be some stuff going on with the whole Swifty thing and then the whole presidential election and stuff, but I don't think it has nothing to do with football. But it's so weird, man. Like,
why? Okay, hold on.
You start listening to all this stuff from the outside, you're like, it's gonna fucking ruin my team. And, I will say this though, Mahomes' dad got arrested for a DUI last week.
Yeah,
And
that
that's
might
just
be because
that's horrible, man. That's hard for.
I feel bad for Mr. Mahomes. I feel bad for his son Patrick. But you can't let those things.
You can't, but they have an effect, John. They do a little bit.
Okay, hold on. It's a screw up. It's a mistake.
Yeah.
It's not something to just throw off. But where is Patrick Mahomes' dad right now?
Right.
Not in jail. He's at home.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I get it.
It's all good.
I get it. It's still a distraction, though. It's still a distraction.
So's Taylor Swift. What are you going to do about that?
It shouldn't be a distraction for Mahomes, man.
You're a Swiftie fan.
It might be a
You're
distraction for our boy Kelsey, but
Travis Kelce, baby.
Yeah, he's I guess she flew back from Japan. She got in today, landed in LA, and she can be flying over, whatever, to Vegas from there on. But
I don't care what you get. A lot of people that don't like her. You get a lot of people that love her, and that's all good. Look,
John, I
hope she found someone she really cares about, and I hope he feels the same way about her. That's the way it's supposed to be.
John, I couldn't name one fucking song she sings.
Oh, either can I.
I bet you. Here's the thing. I bet you this though. I know if I heard it, I probably would know it. But I couldn't name. I don't know. I don't listen to, like, when someone's singing a song, I don't go like, oh, that's so and so, that's so and so.
I do.
When I was younger, I did. John, like, remember when there was a song that we were all in the room, and I said, there was a song that Stevie Nicks sang, and what was the band that she was with?
Fleetwood Mac.
There you go. And
dude, don't mess. Dude,
the song came on.
I actually went and saw Stevie Nicks in concert last year, dude.
The song came on, and you said it was Fleetwood Mac, and this is how much I don't care. I was like, no, it's not. It's Stevie Nicks, and you're like, dumbass. I was like, I just don't care.
You're partially right.
No, but what it is I remember, like, voices. If I heard a Dre song, if I heard an Eminem song, if I heard if I heard a song. The voice stands out to me. I don't know. Just Tim McGraw. If there's a Tim McGraw song, I automatically. Jason Aldean,
Toby Keith.
Yes, Chris Stapleton.
Rest in peace, Toby Keith.
By the way, yes, rest in peace.
Sorry about. Okay, but there's one that do you know it was Toby Keith that first signed Taylor Swift.
Yes. Yep.
How about that?
Star power right there.
Yeah.
Well, she was a country girl before. She started off as country,
then
she kind of moved into the pop culture. I mean,
she moved into the money.
Yeah, it's getting a little kind of strange though. She's what, 30 almost? Yeah, I think she's 30 and doing kid songs still, but a little strange.
I think she does more than kid songs.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of breakup songs.
I'd be the same as you. I don't think
no idea, man.
One.
No idea.
Now you start giving me some other country songs. I can name all of them.
I mean, like, I got nothing against her. I don't really give. I don't care. Like when
No.
there's just things that I just don't care about in life, and like what artists do, what actors and stuff do. I just don't care.
Don't mean anything.
Yeah. Back
Just
to the
a
Chiefs
person.
though. Let's go Chiefs tomorrow.
Let's
today.
go.
Today. Let's go Chiefs. I think we get it done. We have to get predictions first. What do you think?
Oh my God. I think they match up so well. Here's the thing. It's so funny because you can go back to, I saw all these comparisons of things, which is funny because, the last time, I think they were showing that Mike Shanahan was the coach,
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Shanahan. Greasy was the quarterback. Now Greasy's the quarterback coach for the Niners. McCaffrey was playing on something. I can't remember what it was. And now the dad was on one team and now the son's playing on the Niners. I just look at it. I think the Niners have an incredible team. I think the one place that they're outplayed in is the quarterback position. Let's be honest. I think Purdy's good. I think he plays within himself. I think he's got unbelievable talent around him that gives him an opportunity to be successful. He's got a good line. He's got an outstanding defense that gets him the ball back and stuff like that. But there's something different about the quarterbacks of today. And no matter what, and people are going to, oh, you're full of shit. It's always been this way. Back when I was a kid, which is a long fucking time ago, Josh.
Yeah, no, I know.
Johnny Unitas was at the end of his career. Okay. And then Johnny Unitas was considered the greatest quarterback in the NFL history. Okay. I mean, guy, Sandlot, had the Brock Lesnar flat top that he wore and stuff like that. And so you had Johnny U, man. He was it. He was the thing. Number 19, Baltimore Colts, winning championships and stuff like that. And everyone's like, no one will ever be better than Johnny Unitas. Well, and then there came this guy named Roger Staubach that started winning with the Cowboys. And then there was this guy named Joe Montana. And everyone gets better. The football players of today are so much better than the football players of the past. Now, you could take a couple from the past and pull them out and say, yeah, he could play maybe in today's game, but he wouldn't be as dominant as he was back when, he was playing or something like that. You just look at everything, and the quarterbacks of today, in my opinion, what's expected of them, and this is where Mahomes or Lamar Jackson or any of these guys, they're not only expected to make the big play at times, they're expected to make the play that gets that first down, make the play with their legs that gets them that out of bounds first down that no one else would have gotten back in the day when they were a pocket passer. But they're also supposed to be pocket passers, and you got to be able to play in the pocket. But then you watch the way that, it used to be, hey, man, you threw from a certain position. You had the ball up high by your ear and they would zip the ball. And now you're looking at these sidearm throws and the way guys move and the things that they do. It's an entirely different game, man. It's just like, it's crazy. So to sit there and you can't compare things from the past or anything like that. I just look at the speed of the game, and it's always the person. And this is what made Tom Brady as good. He could slow the game down to where he understood exactly where the person was supposed to be, when they were supposed to be there, and hit the target. And, he wasn't throwing to the person. He was throwing to a spot. And Mahomes does the same thing, but adds on top of it with the legs and the ability to get out of the pocket, and the ability to extend the play, and just those things that guy does. I mean, you're never in that position where you think he's out of a play. He's going to make the play. You sitting there as a Chiefs fan, you're like, oh, come on, please. And as the people on the other side, I'm not saying, me, but, people that have the defense, they're like, God damn it, get that son of a bitch, right? And they think that he can never be, stopped. And that's what makes him remarkable. And there are players on both sides. Debo, man, that dude's so good. So good. And then McCaffrey he's good everywhere. He doesn't, he's like that MMA fighter that you look at and you go, you know what? he's not freaking the best of anything. He's just good at everything.
Yeah.
And that makes him dangerous as hell. So I think it's going to be a great Super Bowl. I cannot wait to just sit back and enjoy and not have to worry about my team winning.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a stressful thing, man. Everyone keeps calling me going, hey, like, we're having somebody over. You guys want to come? And I'm like, nah, I'm going to sit at home just watching myself. I get super annoyed.
Because there's a smart ass there, probably looks just like me, that's going to definitely root against you just to be that annoying prick.
Nah, it's not even that, but even if my team gets up, I still want to watch the game in peace. It's just one of those things, and I can just sit around the house. I mean, I bought bigger TVs so I can sit at home and enjoy things like this. So I don't want to be chirped out all day. I like to enjoy it. I like to win quietly, and if I lose, I want to lose and drown myself in my own misery with no one around. So it's one of those things. I think
I'm going to be on the phone.
Oh, yeah. And I'm going to be on silent.
Later on today, I am calling up.
It's going to be silent.
Hey, baby, how you feeling right now?
It'd be good or bad. If I don't pick up, then it's...
Yeah, you're just gonna go dit.
I look at it this way. Look, our defense is one of the best in the league. We're ranked number 3 right now. Our secondary, I would have to say, it's probably number 1, number 2 in the league. The thing is they want to keep saying that the Chiefs got to the Super Bowl going through Buffalo and going through
they did
Baltimore. They did. I agree with you.
That's big.
That's huge.
That's big.
But then there are comparisons, which kind of throws me off because these are professionals that are talking about this. But in comparisons is that the Niners didn't have to play 2 teams like those, like we did, which I agree. Okay. But then they barely they barely beat Green Bay, and then they barely beat last week's team as well, the Niners. And they came back from being down, all these things. The Lions. There you go. The thing is, though, is when we played, Buffalo. Buffalo doesn't have a running game. Their running game is okay. They just don't utilize it as much as they should. It's okay.
They got Josh Allen.
Yeah, they've got Josh Allen, and he's hard to stop when he gets rolling. He's a fucking snowball going downhill. All right, but then they stopped their running game probably about halfway through the first half, and then the rest of it was history. They relied on Josh Allen. And then to go to Baltimore, they don't have a running game. They do have a running game. They just stopped running after the first quarter. And if they would have kept running, they would have continued to exploit us. The running game is going to really hurt us if the Niners decide to run the ball consistently. That's our problem. In the secondary, I think our secondary is going to do a good enough job defending Ayuk, Debo, and all the other guys that they have. McCaffrey coming out of the backfield is always going to be dangerous. That's going to kind of make me a little bit nervous. He catches the ball, and every player I've ever talked to that's ever played against him has said he's a lot harder to tackle than he looks, which it seems very evident because he hits the holes and guys bounce off him. I'm like, dude, the guy's half your size. And then he's like, no, it's hard. He's got strong legs. He's hard to take down. And I can see it. So we're going to have to stop the running game. We're going to have to put a focus on that, rely on our secondary to get the job done. Those are the things that I look at from the outside looking in. If we can put pressure on Purdy, which we're going to need to do, and have him make the decisions that will eventually break the game, then I think we got a really good chance. If we don't get pressure on the young QB, it's going to be a long night for us. So it'll be fun. I mean, the kid can make the throws.
I think it's a good matchup.
It's a great matchup.
And I really do believe it's a benefit to Kansas City and the way they went through the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Compared to being the Niners and everything was at home, everything's comfortable. Kansas City went and did it the hard way. Mm-hmm. They went to Buffalo, a hard place to play. They went to Baltimore, a hard place to play. Got the wins against the crowd. And this crowd, it's going to be 50-50 at worst for them. Kansas City travels well.
They do.
The Niners travel well.
Yeah, they do.
So it'll be half and half.
It'll be an interesting game. I think, like I said, if we can get to Purdy and make him make decisions on the fly, I think that he's going to end up making some mistakes that we can capitalize on. I think that's where it's going to come down to. If the one hope that I have, let's not forget, is that Shanahan was also the offensive coordinator for the Falcons when they blew the 28-point lead or whatever going into halftime against Brady. And he just seems and he finds ways in big games to fuck shit up when it comes to like, oh, we're ahead, or they get away from their run game. People forget about that Super Bowl. They were running the ball and dropping down and dipping down on all the little cutoff plays that really got them that 24-point lead going into half. and they went away from it in the second half, and that's how Brady and them caught up. So I'm waiting. I'm hoping that between the coach and the young QB, we could end up still on this one. We could end up still on it. So we're going to find out, though, but that's why we play the game. Either way, I've got a lot of family members that are Niners fans, and I'm a Chiefs fan. I'm the sole Chiefs fan in my family. And so I hate to give them bragging rights, but I got to tip my hat to get it done. So it should be a good game, though. I think if you look at the actual talent on the Niners in comparison to the talent that's on the Chiefs, we've got a great QB. I'm not going to lie. We've got a great tight end. We've got some great defensive players. You know, our offense is lacking a little bit. Pacheco's wonderful, runs hard, you know, but we just don't have the names that the Niners have. But last time I checked, it was just the way that you played the game that got it done.
It's called a scoreboard.
Yep, exactly. So we will see. We'll find out. It's going to be a great game. We'll have some fun. So,
yep.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into some fights. John, let's just talk. Look, I had said before in the midweek show, I go, look, I thought this would be one of those creeper cards that would sneak up and you'd have some good fights. I thought we'd have a card that delivered. I would say I was a little bit off. You know,
a little bit.
There was some fights.
There was a couple good ones.
There were some good ones. Some ones that I think we pretty much both agreed on that were going to end up being good. You know, but let's go ahead and start right there at the top of the main event. Jack Hermansson versus Joe Pyfer. Everybody in the comment section saying we kept saying Pyfer last week, and I just told them, hey, if you guys don't like it, listen louder. Okay, Joe Pyfer for all of you guys at home. Pyfer. Yep. There you go. Jack Hermansson versus Joe Pyfer. Tell me how did you see the fight going? Did you think Hermansson won the third round?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Did you think that Pyfer won the first two?
Yes.
Okay. Just one of them.
Barely on the second, but he got it by. I thought and again, this is that difference. I thought he did really well in the first round. And then I thought Hermansson did better in the second round. But I don't give him the round because he did better. Who was the better overall fighter in the second round? Who landed the better shots? And I thought Pyfer was that guy, so I gave him the second round.
Yeah, I actually had Pyfer winning both 1 and 2. I thought he kind of won them kind of easily. I thought he didn't run away with it. But I thought he did enough and he had controlled both rounds. I thought the third round was questionable. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. Maybe I blinked and there was a shot that landed. I thought the third round was back and forth. Now, I'm not arguing and saying this was a robbery at all.
Think about like the shot that, and I'm going to give Mark Smith real credit on this because he did a good job. It's not an easy thing to do. You're always looking for it, but Hermansson throws a punch. It's a right hand, and it lands, and Pyfer turns like I got poked in the eye, and immediately, Smith says that was a punch. It's legal.
Wow. And
because you don't want Pyfer to feel. All he feels is I got poked, and mentally he starts to think you got to stop this. I get time, and you can't let him get into that, and he's got to fight through it and stuff. But there was just a little bit before that where I thought that Hermansson started to take over in that round.
Okay,
and he started to land the cleaner shots, and he was countering. Pyfer would throw a jab, and you would see Hermansson throw a jab back and then a right hand. Or try to come to the body at times and stuff. And the real difference, when you're looking at the way those rounds were, I thought Pyfer started throwing hard shots. It kind of built up to the point you got a little bit tired with it. The legs started to become a problem. The calf kick started to irritate him. He was at times at least bringing his leg up to check, or you saw him a couple times turn his knee out to check on it and stuff. But he didn't do it enough to make it to where it became an actual element of the fight, and an element where you could see he was having a hard time keeping his balance controlled. He was taking a step, and you saw him make that. It looks like it's stiff, and it's stiff because it is. He's having a hard time controlling his balance, and that's when I thought Jack Hermansson really he's starting to take over in the fight. He's showing exactly what we talked about. He's showing veteran experience against a guy who is a good young fighter, strong, got all those things, but hasn't been taken into the deep waters of what happens in a 5-round fight. And it showed. It's fight IQ, and it's just experience. And that's nothing against Pyfer. He's going to be good. He's a tough dude. He's physically strong. He hits hard. He hurt Hermansson in the first round, and he's got talent. It's just you're taking a guy at this point and you're pushing him a little bit too fast for that main event slot. Josh, the first time you fought 5 rounds, what was the first thing in your mind?
Make sure that I'm in the best shape of my life.
Okay. And holy shit, that's 2 more fucking rounds.
Yeah. I understand.
Okay? And when you got to the end of the 3rd round and you're going into the 4th, it's like, oh, here it is. Am I going to get tired? And these are the thoughts that are going through your mind. And these are things that happen when you've never been someplace. But when you've been there, it's no big deal. There's no anxiety. There's no stress. And so it doesn't burn energy. Yeah. But when you haven't been there, even those little things, those thoughts, they burn.
Yeah. My experience in my first 5-round fight, I beat Gilbert for the title. So it's hard for me to say that it was.
It's okay.
And I'm not trying to boast about it, is that I focused more on cardio than I focused on my grappling, my wrestling, and my stand-up. I focused knowing that I had trained with Gil. I knew what he was good at. I knew how hard he could push. I knew he was mentally tough. With Joe Pyfer, what he needed to do was, and I'm not saying, is that you need to get yourself in such great shape. I think a lot of these young fighters, they just think they're going to live off their athleticism. And what we saw tonight was a masterclass in being a veteran. Weather the storm. Let him do what he needs to do in the first round. Don't take too big of shots. Make him burn energy. Okay. And then in the second round, let's threaten a takedown or 2, make him use his muscles, blow up his muscles with some blood, make him feel heavy. And then now let's start snapping our jab. It was a master class of what fight IQ is supposed to look like. He fought a textbook fight in terms of just taking the young blood into the deep waters and drowning him. Let me just hang on your foot in 9 feet of water. And eventually you're not gonna be able to tread water anymore. And there was moments that Joe had in the fight where he could have let loose a little bit more, but I felt like he kept second guessing whether he was going to get tired or his arms started feeling heavy and the pop wasn't there anymore. He physically looked so much bigger than Hermansson. And as the fight went on, he was the one with his back to the fence, and just allowing himself to get pushed around. There was moments where he just kind of clammed up and shelled up against the ropes with no head movement and just took some shots. And what I loved about Hermansson's performance was he stuck the jab in the face and the jab was working like textbook. It was just beautifully done. But anytime that Joe tried to come in tight, you'd see Hermansson throw a knee to the gut, like a little knee off to the ribs, a little knee, getting you guessing about keeping your elbows in tight because you don't want to get hit with a liver shot. You don't want to get hit up the breadbasket. You don't want to take that shot that makes you even more tired. He just fought a really good fight. He fought a great fight, and I got to give him credit.
Yeah.
And Joe Pyfer, all he really needs to do, honestly, is, dude, you got all the skills. Now we just gotta kind of make a tweak here and a tweak there. But the number one tweak is the conditioning. I mean, you looked like you were in shape. Okay, you're physically just a specimen, but
he was in shape. There's no doubt.
There's a difference between, though, John, being in shape and also your recovery shape, though.
That's right.
He didn't seem to have the recovery. Like after you give your 30-second burst, you have to be able to recover within 10 seconds. Maybe even less if you can. That goes into your training, and your cardio training has to be minute-long sprints, and eventually as your fight camp works down, you start getting into 30 seconds, 20-second long rest, and then you do your minute-long sprint again. Yep. I mean, just to put it in perspective, I mean, like I said, I used to do 6 to 8 440 sprints on the track. And as the camp started, it would be double however long it took me. And when I started my camp, it was about a minute. It took me about a minute 10, minute 12 to do a full lap sprint. And I could do consistently probably anywhere from 6 to 8 of them. I could do within a minute 15 to minute 25 as you get towards the 8 sprints. As the camp got on, I was doing 50-second sprints, 50-second full lap sprints. And I was only getting 25 to 30-second rest periods. And I would do 8 of them in a row. And then be the same thing over and over. You just got to learn how to control your breathing. You got to learn how to control the pace in which you fight, so you can recover fast. You got to know when to take that step back and do the bounce around like Michael Chandler does, so he can exude more energy or expend more energy going forward after that. That is the type of thing that Joe's going to have to work on. And I think a lot of young fighters got to learn to work on that. It's one thing to fight. It's one thing to fight at a pace, okay, that you're trying to get them to burn, your opponent to burn out on. But you've also got to know what your pace is. And you have to create that pace in the gym and on the track. It's funny. I had Trevor Prangley's son just call me the other day. He goes, hey, and not his son, his Trevor called me, but it was about his son. And he goes, how do you get your weight down when the diet and nutrition is very, and good? And I'm like, run. And he's like, thank you. He's like, Sebi, because his son's name is Sebastian. Sebi, did you hear that? He's like, run. And his son refuses to run. And so, but he's got fights coming up. He's 19 years old. He's got fights coming up. And I'm like, son, if you can't run, if you're not going to run, you're never going to be one of the best. Never.
Well, the only thing you can do is you can run on a treadmill, or you can get on an elliptical and just burn the shit out of it.
Yeah, I was an elliptical guy. I would do track sprints 3 days a week, and I would do elliptical the other 3 days a week.
Yeah.
Elliptical was a savior on your body, man. It really was.
Savior on your knees and things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're not on something like that, or even a Airdyne bike that's pumping you're never going to.
The assault bike, I think a lot of fighters use the assault bike for cardio. I never used it for cardio. I use it for muscle endurance, which is another form of cardio, but I use it for muscle endurance. As I would mix it in. Like you see, you go and watch the 24/7s with like me and Koscheck and Khabib and Kane, everyone. We do a minute on the bike, and most gyms they've kind of adopted this routine. Is they would do the minute on the bike, and they do like a minute of wall escape, do a minute on the bike, a minute of like mount escape. And your guy's helping you out a little bit. Like he's not trying to press you down and hold you down. He's letting you work. The objective is to get the reps in and just muscle memory, repetition. So, but yeah, I didn't really use the assault bike as like a full on cardio thing. I used it more for muscle endurance and getting the heart rate up and kind of getting the weight down and, and use it more of a muscle endurance type workout instead of just an actual long workout. You weren't going to get it there. But I thought overall, Jack Hermansson fought a fantastic fight. Well played. I mean, the problem with fighting those, just so people at home listening, the problem with fighting the way that he fought is you don't know how that first round's going to go. And so just sitting back hoping that you can get to the second round, mentally it messes with you because you want to get the takedown. You want to press the action. You want to make him feel uncomfortable and tired, but you've got to kind of kick back because you know that Joe Pyfer's got a lot of power in his hands, and his hands were definitely quicker than Jack Hermansson's early in the fight.
Yes, they were. So it was he's the younger, faster, stronger fighter, and age wise, it shows. And Joe Pyfer's got a ton of career left. Mm-hmm. Jack Hermansson doesn't have that much career left. He's got some. He's still a very good fighter, and he proved that tonight. But Joe Pyfer's going to learn. We say it all the time. You learn a lot more from the losses than you do from the wins, and he's going to learn a lot from this one because this was that first 5-round main event. There's a lot of pressure with it. There's extra media with it. There's all these things. You got to learn how to deal with them because it's going to come back again.
I just want to say one more thing too. Joe Pyfer, his entry in on the takedowns were pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. It was the execution in which he got there. He kept going to the high the back crotch. So he was going to the backside instead of dipping his head out to the outside and lifting and taking him forward and getting the dump. He kept trying to do it with his head on the inside. And Hermansson was just stuffing it, hitting him with strikes. You got to dip your head to the outside right away and go right to the back and go to the body lock. And to give you, like, DC's one of the best at doing it. We'll talk a little bit more about how Dom and DC were at each other's throat all night, which was hilarious. It was comical. I couldn't believe it, man. I could believe it, actually, considering the two.
Yeah, I was going to say, really? You couldn't believe it?
But I thought it was hilarious. But then DC's trying to walk him through it too. When you get to that, he was getting in deep, going high. He was going deep on the backside. And then the other hand wasn't around the knee. It was around the waist. If you're going to do that, you've got to dip your head to the outside and just go either real high crotch and lift and then take him forward, or you just got to go right to getting rid of the high crotch and going right to the body lock and get the takedown, man. Just drop him, sag him, whatever it is. but he just was missing it every time. He was so deep on like 3 or 4 of them when I saw it, just head in the wrong place, not cutting the corner, not getting his hips out from underneath him. If you snatch that single, the last place you want to be is right directly underneath him, like him able just to make you carry his weight. And that's kind of where you were at. And so if he would have just dipped his head to the outside and cut the corner, he would have got to the body lock easily. So it was a little frustrating. I'm watching going, I was screaming at the team, like, just put your head to the outside and go to the back.
I think, like, everybody, I think he's in a good camp. I think he's got great people around him. I think this is going to be a great learning experience for him. It's not easy.
No.
To get through these moments with the win, that's a big thing because you're up against it. And that's going against a veteran, a guy that's been there. I don't know the words that you can say to get someone to truly understand the amount of pressure that's on you and the thoughts that are going through your head during this, because there's those moments that you think I've got this, and then you don't, it doesn't end. And it's like, shit. And you got to fight that person, that, is in that cage. That's you got to fight all those things that are worrying you about what's going on right now in the fight. And, Joe Pyfer's gonna, like I said, he's going to have a great career. He's a tough dude.
To touch on what you're saying though, is that for someone headlining their first main event and it being Super Bowl weekend and all the celebrities are in town and UFC has you doing little events here and there, like probably from Wednesday, Thursday, a little bit. And I'll go ahead and rest, whatever it is. Hey, meet this person. A lot of it starts to go to your head. I'm just going to get this win real quick, and then I'm going to go out here and be out hanging, partying.
I'm going to go party.
I'm not saying that's what got to him. I'm just saying that it seemed like more of Jack Hermansson having a good game plan and Joe Pyfer like just outside that reach and that range of getting the job done. He was close. Yep. But someone who did get it done, though, was my boy Dan Ige.
Boy, I tell you what, man. And this is one of those ones you look, and it was I was wondering, I knew that Dan and I hate to say, I knew that they had sparred multiple times and had trained together and things like that. And this is where you try to tell people, it's practice is practice. How many times do we say it? And this is that one where when you are a good training partner for somebody, you don't put it on them. You let them, you work them with what they want to work on. You give them what they want. When they want you to go hard, you give them hard. But if something starts to happen, you're backing off of it. And this is those ones where I think Dan was a little bit, almost just a little bit tweaked that Andre took this fight. Mm-hmm. And I don't blame Andre for taking it. I don't. I understand the whole purpose behind why his, camp did that and why his management wanted him to do it. But when you're Dan, it's one of those, all right, I'm going to show you. I didn't hit you hard before, but I'm going to this time. And that was the real difference in the fight. Dan took his time. Dan is defensively, we take a look, and Dan's tight with his defense, but he's hittable. You got to be, but he is absolutely durable and takes big shots and keeps on coming in the fight. And it's the one thing is, he's going to be there. And Andre was going to have that fight, like we talked about, staying on the outside, using that range and movement to frustrate Dan. And you saw he started it in that direction, trying, but within the first minute, he was starting to have problems with the distance.
Yeah. And
Ige was using his footwork to get inside, land shots, and Andre would move himself out, but it didn't take long before Ige was able to land the power. And look, the second shot wasn't even needed.
Yeah. The only reason why I think he did it because he saw Fili start to kind of sit up a little bit, and he was out of it.
I don't blame him for it.
He was out though.
Yep.
I didn't think it was going to go this way. I didn't think it was going to be made this, it would make it look this easy. I thought that Fili was going to have a little bit more snap on the punch in terms of keeping the range with the jab, a little bit more of the loopy stuff, and keeping Dan at bay because Fili's got some power too. But Dan, I think I've trained with Dan. I've grappled with Dan. I've clinched with Dan. Like, he's got power. I've never sparred with Dan, but I know he's got power. Just can feel it by the way he moves, to feel it by the way he tries to hang on you. He's physically strong. Like, he doesn't look like he's physically strong, but he just has that, like, it's hard to move him type strength. A little bit like a Patricio Pitbull, almost like a little
Tendon
stump.
strength. Yeah,
Yeah, they're like a little stump that you're like, man, I can't move this guy. He's got that, and explains why he's got the power in his hands. But I think when I look at Dan, like, he's the guy that people continuously overlook. I'm going to get him. He doesn't do anything great, but he does everything well.
He's not super fast. You look at him, you go, he's hittable. Yeah, he has a good defense. He keeps his hands high. He moves well with his footwork. He does take his head off the center line well, but he's hittable. So when someone's hittable, you go, I can get to him.
Mm-hmm. You know what's hard though, when you're fighting someone he is hittable, but he does have pretty good defense. He keeps his hands up pretty well.
He does.
But hit it. What we mean by hittable is, doesn't mean that like he's not there to be hit. It means that, like, sure, he covers up. You can still hit him, but nothing really gets through solidly. And when you do hit him solid, like, he generally tries to come right back and fire back at you. Yeah. And so that's dangerous. You got to be careful of those guys, because they're like, fuck it, I ain't got nothing to lose. Those ones are dangerous. And Dan is that guy. And so I think Fili's a little bit like that as well. But overall, I thought it was going to be a longer fight. I thought it was going to be a better fight. But Dan getting the job done, great job. Well timed over the lazy jab. Thought it was perfectly executed. And the follow right away was absolutely amazing. Great fight for Dan. I mean, and look, and Dan being kind of like you're saying, like a little kind of upset or just it bothered him that he took the fight. Let's not forget, like, when you're Fili and you're not ranked at the time, you really don't have a lot of options. You take what they give you. And if you're going to give me a ranked guy, I got to take it. There's just no way. It doesn't matter who it is. I've got to take the fight.
Yeah.
And so, Dan doesn't seem like someone that takes something too much personal, but he was probably like, this sucks. I got to take, because you know him. So, but overall, good performance by Danny. A great job. Before we move on, though, go to onlyfans.com/weighing-in, onlyfans.com/weighing-in. Subscribe to us over there. It is free. So I can sit here and talk to you guys all day about it, but you guys can see my OnlyFans gear I got going on right here. Got a little sweater right here. I got OnlyFans over the right shoulder. But you guys, look, we do some live. I do a live Q&As on there every once in a while. And we'll try. I'm going to probably try to knock one out this week for you guys. We're going to do one last week. Got caught up with some stuff. But this week I've got some time on probably Tuesday afternoon, sometime around there. So we will try to get this knocked out for you guys. Try and do a Q&A for you guys. We got to get Big John to join us one of these days. Hey. So try and hit you guys up, and hey, check us out at onlyfans.com/weighing-in. Go ahead. Next fight is.
We had Ihor Potoria against Robert Brzyk. I tell you what, I'd watch Brzyk in his prior fights. He was fighting in a different organization. Saw that he had power. Had watched Potoria. They brought him in when to face off against Shogun Hua in his last fight, and it was one of those ones that just and it wasn't. Look at Potoria was there to win that fight. It was the whole thing afterwards. He goes, dude, didn't go over well. Even though he got the win and stuff. But I'll tell you what, this fight showed me that guy's got heart. He's got heart. He got hit big time. Mm-hmm. There was a couple things that happened in there. You had the eye poke, then you had the, and the punch to the groin was, that was not on, Brzyk. That's on Potoria. He's the one that pushed the shot down. It's not that you can't give him time, but don't be looking and saying, hey, Beltran's yelling at almost at it. I'm a hard warning, right? I'm like, damn, Mike, that son of a bitch pushed it down. It's like that poor guy didn't do anything. It was online for the solar plex, and the guy pushed it down, but it's all right. I actually thought Brzyk tried putting Potoria out with big shots, heavy punches, and he got tired, and he slowed down a little bit, and that put Potoria in that position to where he could, come back in the fight, and he did. He started taking over in that second round, got the third round, and that's what you do. That, you're not always going to win that first round. Usually the guy who's got, the more athleticism, the bigger power, and they're fresh. If you can't match up in it, it's a hard round for you to win, but you can always come back in the second and the third and take the fight. And that's what Pretoria did in this one. I thought it was a really good performance. He was going against a guy that had power, and he was smart in the way he performed.
Yeah, Pretoria just was someone that he missed weight, I guess, by 1.5 pounds. Coming in, it's all right though.
Coming down.
Short notice fight, that was one. 2 is cutting down from 205 to 185.
185, yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and give him a pass.
That's a big jump.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a pass. It's a 20-pound jump, but he said he normally walked around about 198, something like that, 200 pounds around that, and then we had to make 186. So that makes sense for him to make the drop. He just got tired of being the smaller guy, and I don't blame him for that. But the way I look at it too with Brzezek, he was someone that he kind of fought a little bit like Joe Pyfer. He came out strong, he kind of dictated the pace of the fight, landed some good hard shots. But with Pyfer, he had an excuse because it was a 5-round fight. Okay, I don't want to go ahead and blow my wad against somebody who could carry this thing out. Yeah. And in a 5-round fight. But this is a 3-round fight. If you're Brzezek, you've got to let it go. You've got to let your hands fly. You were having success. You were making him feel uncomfortable, and he just didn't. He kept reserving it. It was almost like he was admiring his work. Like, you took the fight on short notice. I'm taking it to you. It's going to continue to be there. I'm going to just make an example out of you, and it ended up backfiring. As things go on, the longer you keep fighters in a fight, the more opportunities that they have to change the tide. And in this fight, just one little shot started setting the tempo. Then it was another shot, and then another shot. It changes the momentum of the fight. And it could happen, and it's like being caught in quicksand. You see it and you feel it happening, but you just can't get your shit out of it.
You still can't get your foot unstuck.
Because as you're taking more shots, you're getting slower and slower. And I can always use the power bar on a video game as an example, but it really is like that. Like, the harder you fight, the fucking worse it gets, because you start leaving yourself more open, and then you start getting hit more often, which means your energy levels goes down. And then that means when your energy goes down, things come out slower, more telegraphed, and more wide open, and more loopy, and it just is a snowball in that sand. And it's that quicksand effect. Yeah. And that's what I just saw. I just saw Brzezek, like, he was always like right there, but then he just did too much and then got hit. Then, okay, now he's back to even. Then he opened up a little bit too much and then got hit. Okay, now we're back to even. Like, he was just slightly out of range of winning that fight every time they got into an exchange. And Pretoria just good job, man. Good job. Taking the fight on short notice, cutting the weight, not getting there, but look, you're there. 170, 187.5 is not bad. 1.5 pounds, you get the 186. Okay, but a little diet and nutrition will go a long way.
Yeah, but it was actually a very smart performance by him. I'm impressed with the guy because he can actually fight. He's got skill. Gregory Rodriguez taking on Brad Tavares. Interesting fight. I'll tell you what, Gregory Rodriguez can hit. Mm-hmm. He's got power. Dude, he does throw hard shots. But you talk about a guy that does not take any kind of head movement, does not take his head off of the center line at all. He is there to be hit, but he takes them. And Tavares, touched him quite often. I thought Rodriguez was doing a really nice job with his low calf kick. It doesn't look like it's much, but it was affecting Tavares. It was lumping up the leg a little bit there. But you really got to go. I thought I actually had it even going into the third round, and Rodriguez he decided, no. And as soon as he decided to open up and he hurt Tavares, you could see it. And then Tavares started to sink against the cage a little bit. I thought it was a great stoppage by Jason Herzog when he decided to stop the fight. It was the right thing to do. Absolutely. Because Rodriguez was just jackhammering him with the right hand. It was over. And big win. I really enjoy watching Rodriguez. He's got skill, and he's got great jiu-jitsu. He can stand and bang with anyone. He will. He just needs to learn a little bit better as far as the head movement. Just a little bit. Just take the head off the center line just a little bit.
He got rocked in the first pretty significantly.
Yes, he did.
In that first probably minute and a half, I think. Yeah. And Brad took a step back and didn't press the action. I'm not saying to press it carelessly. I'm saying you got to make him feel uncomfortable, make him in those situations, and I know when you're talking at this level, man, one little slip up in the whole thing can go out the door, especially when someone like RoboCop has the power that he has. What you've got to do is you've got to step into their range and then feint to get them to react while they're still kind of rocked. And then that opens them up, and then you can go ahead and go. There's just little ways to make the difference. And Brad kind of took a step back. It's like, look, I'm going to let it settle for a second. By then, that opportunity is gone. You've got to get right in their grill and make them react and swing crazy if you can, but don't go all the way in because you know you can get hit. So give that feint, like you're going to jump in and then jump out. He didn't get it. He didn't do it. And then this goes right back to the Brzezek fight and then the Pyfer fight. You had success in the first. And as you had success in the first, the fight continued to go on and you let the fighter back into the fight. Same exact thing. And so I saw a lot of this throughout this fight night. This is why I don't drink seltzers, man. Jesus. I can't stop burping, man. It's horrible. Because I haven't been drinking lately, so for a long time. So I've started drinking these what are these? Waterloos? The
Waterloo seltzer.
Yeah.
Was that watermelon?
Yeah, it's just watermelon. It's just like seltzer water.
Just a flavor.
No alcohol. So I know,
man. I got to get back together with you. I got to get you toasted.
This will be probably the first Super Bowl. John, I haven't drank in forever. I had one small little bourbon on.
I'm serious.
On New Year's.
I haven't either.
On New Year's.
I have not either.
Yeah.
I haven't had anything to drink.
I miss our bar stuff after fights.
Hello.
So I'll be going to Riyadh though. Cha-ching. But then
you are going to Riyadh.
But guess what? There's no alcohol in Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
Oh, there's no alcohol. And I guess there is, but you have to be a diplomat, which I am not. So
diplomatic community,
I
Mr.
know,
Thomson.
yes. Lethal weapon, baby. Lethal weapon. Number 2. Oh, the girl from South Africa. I got to look her up and see what she looks like now.
You don't want to see what she looks like.
John, the girl.
That is never a good thing.
The girl from Top Gun.
That is never a good thing.
Look, John, the girl from Top
Kelly
Gun.
McGinnis. Kelly McGinnis.
She's disgusting. I gotta be careful. She's not as attractive as she used to be.
It's hysterical. Yeah.
Who is this girl?
That's the girl that was.
She doesn't look bad. She's probably what, 60? She doesn't look bad. But look at the other one, the one from Top Gun. She doesn't look bad. Look at her. She had the South African accent. But the one from Top Gun, Kelly McGinnis, or what was that her name?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Kelly McGinnis.
Then and now. Not a good look, John. Not a good look.
Is it Kelly McGillis or Kelly McGinnis?
McGillis, I think, is it? Yeah.
Oh no. Go. There's some. There you go.
What happened?
No, look at the one. Look at the one with the glasses.
The white and the glasses up there in the left corner.
Yeah.
Right there, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. No.
John, Dave, are you having a hard time? The white outfit. The only
I'm not
white
gonna
outfit.
yeah, this doesn't. It doesn't open over there.
There you go.
Look at the girl down there. That's her, and look at the one there.
You know, we are getting close to having problems.
No, John, no. But you know what though? I haven't seen her act in anything in a long time. And
I think she stepped away from it.
And this is another reason why that she probably hasn't got all the plastic surgery. She looks like a normal female who is aged. That's all.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with her.
I would rather see that.
Yeah, than some of the stuff I've seen. Oh, man, it's disgusting. All right, let's get back to the fights.
Thank you very much. Let's talk about a guy that does not need any plastic surgery at all. Michael Johnson. Darius Flowers. Michael Johnson, like you said, still has speed. Mm-hmm. He actually used his wrestling. It's not the wrestling that it used to be. Yeah, it's not the wrestling that it used to be because that's what he started with. And and then afterwards he told DC, "Oh, screw that wrestling stuff."
It's just for the birds.
But that's what won him the fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, here's the other thing that won him the fight. Very smart in his stand-up as far as he went to. I was surprised because Dominic and Dan were talking about Darius Flowers going to the body. Michael Johnson was going to the body and going to the body well. He was controlling the fight with his body shots. He did a great job of making it to where Darius Flowers had problems based upon the body work that he was doing. It caused Flowers to be uncomfortable in the fight. I thought overall, you couldn't ask for a better performance from Michael Johnson than what he gave?
No, absolutely. I thought Michael Johnson fought a great fight. I thought
Great fight.
he did exactly what we told him to do, and that's why he won.
Yep.
And
Thank you very
I'm
much.
glad he listens to our show. I know he listens to our show. I love the guy, man. He's an absolute stud. Look, Michael Johnson, the speed's still there. He went back to his roots, which is his wrestling. He went to it later in the fight, not in the first round. He went to it second and third. Smart, not letting it known that that's what he wanted to do. But I will say this. I sat on the show here on Tuesday, and I said, hey, he should be able just to pick him apart, pick Darius Flowers apart on the feet, and then utilize the wrestling and make the fight a lot easier if he wanted to. It's exactly what I said on Tuesday. But what I didn't do, John, because I hadn't seen enough of Darius Flowers, I didn't give him the credit he deserves. The kid's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
He's got good stand-up.
He's got power.
Yeah. He's got power in his hands. He did a fine job on the feet. It was the speed of Johnson gave him a little bit of problems. And it was, in my opinion, the body shots were giving him problems that opened up the ability for Johnson to get the easy takedown.
I think that Darius got away from the push kicks up the gut. And when you start getting rid of those, that allows that fighter to start shooting. Because now when I'm not concerned about that thing coming up the middle, I don't have to worry about getting kicked in the face.
Yep.
And so I utilized the push kick. Probably the most utilized weapon in my whole arsenal, my whole career was the push kick. And I used it in our first Gilbert fight. I used it all of my fights because I loved the push kick.
That's because you got a foot that's that wide.
Yes, it is. It just
quadruple E.
You know what it was? I never had confidence in my jab. For like 2-3 fights I did, I never had confidence in my jab. And so I used to utilize my push kick as my jab. That was my thing, and just use the jab. And I thought Darius Flowers' push kick was money. And he got away from it, like kind of towards the end of the first, into the second round, he got away from it. And then that's when Michael Johnson was able to start aiming towards the target. And the target was hitting him right below the chin and hitting him right to the gut. And anytime you're fighting southpaw versus conventional, okay, the way you kind of set that up is you hit to the body, then you try to come over top on the head. And it's a real crafty way of doing it because when you go straight to the body, then come over the top, they try to drop their elbows and they're weak on that weak side. So whatever their lead hand is, it ends up being weak on that side because you go here and then over the top. They have to protect one or the other. And so that's kind of what Michael Johnson was doing. I called him MJ. That's what he was doing. And
that's MJ.
Yeah, I thought he looked good, man. I love the fact that he used his wrestling. Yeah. Because look, he can prolong his career. Andre Arlovsky, guys where he's learned how to clinch and hold you against the fence and slow the pace of the fight down, and all of those things make a huge difference on how much longer you want to fight. Yeah. And if he wants to fight for a long time and burn the wheels off of it, this is a good way to do it.
And for the most part, it's taking you out of that danger area where someone can't land that one shot that's going to change, because it was very apparent, based upon the commentary, that Henry Hooft between the second and third round told him, hey, I need you to be smart here. I need you to, this is where, we get caught. I want you to, and he fought a very good round all the way up until about, a minute left. Mm-hmm. Started to get a little bit sloppy with it, got caught in the triangle a little bit, all those little things, but not enough to, take the fight away from him. But it's not easy when you're getting older, you get tired easier. You got to find those areas that you can take that breath. I thought he fought as good a fight as I've seen him fight in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I want to remind people, man, he's 37 years old. This shit ain't easy.
Yeah,
this stuff is not easy. Carrie Melendez, Gil Melendez's wife, she fought in the last Bellator last November. And I went in the back to congratulate her right after the fight. And she was in the back with the doctor and just getting looked over and stuff. And she's like fighting at 39 years old or whatever. She's like, this is not what it used to be. I said, you're damn right. I go, you're damn right. It's not what it used to be.
Yeah.
And it's true. And it's very true. So,
and it's, and you're taking a look, let's just put this in perspective. Carrie Melendez hasn't really accepted any damage in her career.
No.
She's never had that fight where she had one fight where she went back and forth and she took a lot of shots, but other than, and she won the fight. But other than that, she's been the hammer throughout most of her fights. But as your age goes up, it just becomes more difficult. Speed starts to go away. And We're talking little incremental bits, but they make big differences in the overall outcome and the overall how difficult the fight becomes.
Yeah, especially in Muay Thai, she was definitely the hammer. She was fucking phenomenal on the feet.
Yep.
All right, next fight.
All right, we had Rodolfo Vieira taking on Armen Petrosian. We talked about this, and we said, look, let's be honest. Vieira needs to get this fight to the ground. Petrosian needs to keep this thing in the standing. And it wasn't long before Vieira listened and said, I'm getting this thing to the ground. He did. He did a nice job with a couple of takedowns. I'll give Petrosian credit. He got up, on the one, but ends up taking the fight back down and sinks in the arm triangle. I mean, it's textbook, and the way he did it is not the normal way, as far as he was still, basically in the mount position, getting that arm triangle. He didn't go all the way off to the side. He doesn't have to. He's a damn, world champion. He's got a different kind of squeeze. And for anyone that, is doubting Petrosian and the pressure that he was under when he decided to tap, that was a tap. Okay, 2 little taps, that's a tap. And that's because he was probably going out. And then as soon as the pressure is released, you're kind of back and you think, oh, I'm good. Nope, he tapped. He tapped.
Yeah, it really just came down to whoever could implement their game plan. One was to get the fight to the ground and utilize his world-class jiu-jitsu, and the other one was to try to keep this thing on the feet and try to exploit his Adolfo's stand-up weaknesses in his stand-up. Petrosian couldn't keep it on the feet and Petrosian looked great on the feet, whereas Vieira didn't look great on the feet. Vieira looked great on the ground, whereas Petrosian looked like
did not look great.
He was fucking lost out there. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've grappled with dudes that were so damn good on the ground. I felt like I was just drowning the whole time. It was
because you are.
It was horrible.
I have been in that same pool.
Yeah,
it's like there are levels to everything.
There were certain guys throughout my career, like BJ being the number one. And first, it was actually Frank Shamrock. Frank Shamrock being the guy, and then Bob Cook and Frank were kind of came as a package. The two of them, I always had the hardest time with. Frank, because he was so squiggly and he'd sweat.
Frank was a gnat.
Yeah, we called him the Mexican sweat. Didn't matter what you did, you couldn't get a hold of him. He was like, he had no hair on his body.
Around.
He was sweaty. He would just slip right out of everything. You're like, what the fuck? And then Bob was just the guy who could just rip your leg off anytime he wanted to. He had the nastiest leg lock game in the I've never been around. So those two guys. And then BJ came along and he was just world-class level of just jiu-jitsu. Not catch wrestling, not, submission fighting. It was legit jiu-jitsu with his dexterity and just his level. And then after that, I trained with Hoffa and Hoffa Mendez. Didn't train with Guillermo. I trained with Hoffa when I went out to help BJ train one time. And he just fucking put a spanking on me. And he told me, he's like, no striking, obviously no striking, but just straight grappling. I was like, damn, this guy is fucking good. And
but see, in those situations, it was like I was training with Maurice Smith one time. And Maurice and I were sparring, and he says, let's kick, John, right? And I said, all right.
I don't know about
he kicked me in the leg a couple of times. I said, Maurice, you kick me one more time, I swear to God, we're going to take you down. It was like, dude, he was lighting my fucking leg up. I was like, God damn, dude, you're killing me.
Yeah.
But,
there
are levels to everything.
But I had Hoffa, then I had Leo Vieira, and, and just a guy named Lapella. It's just there's guys that I've trained with throughout my life. And there's certain guys that have just made me feel like I was fucking drowning the whole time. From the moment we touched hands to the moment, and as time went on with like Leo and with BJ and certain guys, I felt like I got better and I was able to, kind of keep up with them. Dave Camarillo being one of them too. One of the first times I ever grappled with him, I was like, damn, this guy is a little skinny twig. What the hell is he doing? Like, how is he able to do this? So, but yeah, good times, man. Great times. I look back, John, at my career, and I look back and I just think about all the top world-class people that I've been able to train with throughout my life. And man, some people just wish to meet these guys. And I mean, I've been in there sparring with them, grappling with them, hanging out with them,
I know that was one of the main, it's like Joe Rogan was one, he was, because Joe, used to, he would train at Jean-Jacques Machado's, and I would go down there to John Jacques, and John Jacques was phenomenal. Just an incredible instructor and just a great guy to roll with, because he just did things in a different way based upon he was, he had a little difference in his game. But Joe was always like, what was it like with Hickson? Because Hickson used to just fucking kill me, And I was like, it was fucking horrible, Joe, fucking horrible. I don't know what to tell you. Right? I said he felt like he was I said 500. He felt like he was 500 fucking pounds on top of you, and then he would sit there and he'd go, "Oh, my friend, move your hip this much. I can't."
Oh, it's great, man. It's great. Next fight.
Let's see. We had Carlos Prentice against Trevin Giles. Boy, you talk about a fight turning on one punch. Trevin Giles was doing very good. He was actually really getting to Carlos Prentice, and you could see the damage on Carlos's face. He was taking a lot of shots. Trevin's boxing was looking very clean and everything, but it only takes one, and it was just one shot to change that over and KO'd Trevin Giles. That's a big win for Prentice coming into the UFC. First fight, he gets a knockout against a guy that's been there for a while. Beautifully done. It's just, if you're Trevin Giles, you're looking, I won every second of that fight except for one.
Yeah, and that look, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
That is,
and
that's fighting.
I thought Prentice looked like he was getting a little overwhelmed every time Trevin Giles decided to go. When he went, he was having success, and Prentice just didn't have an answer. But it doesn't take much. Look, if you keep dipping your head one way and you see the knees coming up, you see things baiting you into one direction, change it up, switch stance, but some fighters get so caught up in their way of doing things that they can't make the adjustments on the fly. And I saw that a little bit from Trevin Giles tonight, and he has all the skills. He can't seem to get it to flow for him. So there's always next time we got to get it back. But Prentice, man, good for him. He's long, he's lanky, he's got a different style of fighting, like very kickboxing style centric fighter.
Yeah, so. Very stiff, very straight
fight.
He's got power in his hands, so it was very nice.
I noticed a lot of the fighters that had success tonight, which should be expected, is the fighters that were throwing straight and down the pipe are the ones that were landing the clean, hard shots tonight. Sometimes you'll get guys that throw loopy and they get big shots, like RoboCop, right? He throws straight shots, but there was a lot of the loopy shots that landed hard against Tavares,
especially in the third round. But they landed.
Yep. But then there was a lot of success tonight with the guys that were throwing just straight shots, straight down the pipe, just good stuff. So next fight.
We had Boze Oki against Timothy Kaumba, and this is one of those fights I'm watching. And I'm going to say this about both fighters, both young fighters. Both have a long ways to go as far as I'm going to give it up to Timothy Kaumba. I think he was a last-minute replacement in this. Maybe not last minute, last couple weeks, but he came in and he gave too much respect to his opponent in the beginning based upon obviously things that he had heard about athleticism, and Oki he's athletic, he's very strong, but he's not technically proficient at the entire game of being a mixed martial artist. And that was kind of like one of the things that Gregory Rodriguez said. He says, I'm a mixed martial artist. And he's right, because he can take the fight anywhere and be good. And at this point, you can see that Oki's got one area where he feels comfortable and one area where he does not. And on the ground, he looked like he was not prepared for many things. And it wasn't like his opponent, was doing a whole lot of great things down there. It was just that he just didn't look that he was prepared for the level that he's at right now for that fight to be on the ground. And so he's going to have to be very careful because, if you're a coach, if I was a coach and I'm watching this and he's my fighter's opponent, I know what I want to do with this fight, because I saw it. I saw where he's going to have problems. So he's going to have to be making this up. But it was, split decision on it. Okay. I can see, where there wasn't a ton to go off of. No. Both guys had their rounds. I thought, Oki got the fight. He lost the one round. I thought he won two of them, but welcome to the big leagues. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, Kwamba, he took the fight on short notice, and he also normally fights at 45.
Okay.
And this fight was at 55. So, and you could see there was a little bit of a size difference.
Hesitation.
Not much, though, in terms of he walks around at a 55-pound weight class, maybe even up to close to 170. But, it's like he's used to fighting guys at 145. So he's...
Oki looked big. Oki looked just muscular compared to him.
Yeah. I mean, like, Kwama's just... he's a weight bully at 145. No, I'm just kidding. I thought he fought well. I thought he fought well for someone who took the fight on short notice and fighting up a weight class.
Absolutely.
And you can't knock guys like that, man.
And again, I'm being okay. In your opinion, I thought he basically almost gave away the first round off of being too respectful.
I think the expectations of, okay, how do I fight this guy at short notice?
Yeah.
I didn't get enough time to do the research, just kind of feeling. And John, when you take fights out there on short notice,
You just feel
what are your options? Your options are go hard and try and get him out of there, or carry this thing as long as I can. And hopefully he makes a mistake and I can exploit it before I get tired.
True.
So that it's a shitty situation to be in, and for Oki, it's a hard situation as well, because you're like, okay, I haven't been able to do enough research on this guy. Like, how good is he really? Is he the way he looks on film, or am I going to get something different out here? And is he going to fight me aggressive in the first round, or is he going to try to pace himself? And I think you could tell after the first 2 minutes he was going to try to pace himself.
Yep, absolutely.
Next fight.
Oh, we had Bruno Brazil going up against Loma. It doesn't have Loma's name up there, and it's Lukumbi.
Yeah. Well, no. Not according to Dom Cruz. Do not say the K.
Yeah.
It was a very awkward silence when Dom called out. It was so bad.
Horrible.
DC, no. Don't stop pronouncing the K.
The K is silent.
I was like, what the hell?
Wow.
I was like, oh man. And then they none of them said anything for like a good 20 seconds. I was like, I almost text DC going, this is a little awkward.
No. I would have texted DC. Hey, did you kill him?
Yeah, I just
He's not talking.
No one was saying anything for like another 15 seconds or 20 seconds, but it was a little awkward.
But Loma against Bruno Brazil. I really like Loma in the stand-up. I actually thought Bruno Brazil did a good job in the stand-up against her. I thought overall she was aggressive. She tried to be a little bit like Marina Rodriguez in stalking and lunging in with her shots at times. I think Loma just had a little bit too much experience, and was just a little bit better on the feet. And when it got to takedown, she got a couple, late in the rounds and things like that. But overall, I was impressed with Bruna. I just thought that Loma did win the fight. It wasn't that action packed.
Yeah.
But the one next, I'm going to tell you, I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And Devin Clark took on Marcin
Prachnio.
And man, I'll tell you, those guys fought.
Yeah.
They fought their asses off.
Yeah.
They gave everything. Devin Clark took multiple knees to the body that would have folded many people. Okay. I know they hurt him, and he just sucked it up and kept fighting. And he put on a hell of a performance in coming back, because Marcin Prachnio was giving him problems in the first, couple of rounds, and he just hung in there. And by the end, he had Prachnio kind of in trouble, and he was going after him. Both guys gave everything they had. This is one of those ones where I look and I go, hey, thank you, man. You gave it everything you had. You didn't save anything for the end. You put it all out there. Beautiful performance by both. I hate seeing someone lose that kind of fight.
I thought it was the kicks that changed everything. Prachnio was just the way he was able to set up his kicks and his combinations off of his kicks. The kicks were just something that threw him off completely. The way he was mixing it up, and it threw Devin Clark off pretty much the whole fight. When I came out, I was expecting Devin Clark just to kind of walk him down, throw big shots, and land clean, and be the bully. And
get in for the takedown.
Yeah, and look for it there. The thing with Devin, I believe, he's got a tattoo of USA Wrestling on his calf.
Yeah.
Utilize that. Like, well, you've got to have some wrestling if you have that tattoo on your body.
Dude, take a look at his legs.
Yeah, no, I know. They're massive. And I'm thinking to myself, just utilize it. You don't have to get the takedown. You just got to threaten it to make him think that you're going to get the takedown so your big shots land. And he just wasn't doing it. And I was kind of like, man, what is going on? But Pacquiao looked good. He was in, out of positions. He was in, shooting in, throwing his kicks, throwing the head kicks, he was doing everything really well. The combinations were coming off of it. I thought he fought a good fight. I thought he fought a really good fight. I'm excited to see him fight again. He fought a good fight.
Yeah. His footwork it's not smooth.
No.
And they were kind of trying to say it's not smooth, but it works for him, and it created problems for Devin Clark in the way that he did it. And a lot of, his switching from orthodox into southpaw opened up some of those kicks, and that the liver kick that he hit multiple times that Clark blocked with his elbow to a point, but still it was digging into his side. That sucks. That hurts.
When, like, for the people listening at home, I want you guys to understand, when somebody in a fight changes position, when they switch their stance, you guys have to think the other fighter's mind needs a second to reset. What combinations come off of this? And that's what's going on right there. And so when you guys say, like, hey, as soon as he switches, my coach always told me, as soon as they switch, throw something, anything. Yeah. Because their brain also, when they switch, needs to readjust as well.
Everyone is sitting there saying, what can I do now? Yeah. Where am I at?
Both parties are going, he switched. Oh shit, I switched. Like, okay, how do what is he going to do? What do I have to do? He's like, whatever it is, as soon as he switches, go right to the inside leg kick. No matter what, just go to the inside leg kick. Just throw it, no matter what, or throw the calf kick, whatever it is. It was just something to get them thinking, like, as soon as they switch, you don't want to switch, because every time you switch, I'm going to throw something. And I could just tell, though, that, like, Devin Clark was struggling with the switch. He was struggling with the way that the kicks were coming from different angles. Combinations were coming from different angles. Everything was just throwing him off, and it was just a second behind. Had he not been a second behind, some of his shots would have landed, maybe even got him out of there, got Pacquiao out of there.
Yeah.
So,
but great fight by both. I mean, this is when I sit there and say, a fight sometimes like this is technically there's a lot of mistakes, and that's what makes it a great fight. And this one was, and both guys put everything out there. So thank you very much. I do appreciate that kind of fight. Max Griffin taking on Jeremiah Wells. Jeremiah Wells is a rock.
Yeah.
He is just a physical rock. Max Griffin putting on a really tough performance, he took a lot of damage at certain points in it. He came back and put damage on Jeremiah Wells. Jeremiah Wells when you think he's going to do things and, like, he's starting to counter, then he stops. Mm-hmm. He just mixes, he changes things in a weird way that throws your timing off, makes it an odd fight for you. I thought that Max Griffin came in and didn't, what he had to do to win. It was an awkward fight for him, but nice win by Max. I know he was upset with the split decision with Sal D'Amato. Yeah. It's like, Max, you're never going to get every judge to look. And I know he has said that Sal's gone against him a couple of times. He's not against you. He's looking at what he believes is the most effective shots landed. And Jeremiah had some good shots landed, and everything's about the angle of when it happens and where he's at and where you're at. Some of the things that, you could be throwing that land, he might not see.
Yeah.
It's tough.
It is. I mean, look,
well, you sat there in that seat. Mm-hmm. Basically, you don't get to see everything.
I mean, but I'm normally right. So it kind of makes it easier when you know that you're going to be right, no matter what the decision is. Like,
so then what we need to do is make sure that you are the judge on Max Griffin's next fight, right?
Absolutely. Okay. Easy work.
Did you see Chris Lieben working tonight?
No, I did not. Did I?
Chris Lieben was working
good
as a
for
judge.
him. I like the guy, man. Super good guy.
Great guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. It's funny. It's one of the great things when we were working for Bellator was that we get to, you see Chris, you see him around, you see Frank Trigg. You'll see some past fighters in there. It's nice to kind of see him.
Well, it's funny, and this is the thing that I've tried to tell people forever. Everyone's like, you need to put fighters in there and stuff, and it's like, okay, they have to be the same thing. They have to be trained like anybody because it's different. right? And then as soon as Frank, makes a decision that someone doesn't like, he sucks. He's no better than anyone. Get rid of him, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, whoa, you wanted fighters in there. Same thing with Chris Liebman. I've seen it where Chris is scored and somebody goes, he doesn't know what he's looking at. No, he just fought for so many years, and more. I know that. You can't make everybody happy
From the couch, baby. From the couch. They're all legends.
That's it, babe.
Next fight.
We had Bogan Guskov against Zach Pauga. I do like the ending of this one and what he said, though. Did you hear what he said?
What did he say?
He said that winning your first fight in the UFC is better.
I did see that. I did hear that. Bro, you're doing it wrong, motherfucker. You're doing something wrong.
Something's wrong, right? But that was a nice knockout. Zach's got a good stand up.
Yeah,
he can take shots, and so that's a big win for Bogdan.
Yeah. Puga, he looked good. I thought Puga was doing a really good job, and then Guskov or whatever, he just has. There's a fighter that he reminds me of. I just can't remember off the top of my head. Just fights so relaxed out there. He's out there with his hands kind of coming from his hips. It's a little bit like a Yuri Prochaska kind of, but just not as wild, I guess, as Yuri, but just, I don't know what it was. Something about him reminded me of another fighter from back in the day. Maybe like an Andre Semenov. That's an old name that I know you remember, but you know what I mean?
Of course. Andre Semenov against someone like Ivan Saliver?
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
But there's just, Trevor fought Andre Semenov 3 times.
Dude,
that's horrible.
Andre Semenov. Okay, Andre Semenov.
It was tough.
It's funny because you look back and you go, who are the first Russian fighters that anyone ever truly ever heard of? Yeah. Who was the first one you ever heard
of? Igor Vovchanchyn. Sorry,
okay.
No. It was the one that knocked out Henzo. The one that's in movies now.
Oh, Oleg Taktarov. Okay, he didn't knock out Henzo.
Sorry, vice versa. My bad. Up kick to the face.
Yeah, the very first ones, there was Igor Zinoviev.
I remember him.
Do you remember Igor Zinoviev?
Yes.
Do you know who Igor Zinoviev? Do you know what Igor Zinoviev ended up being?
No. Go ahead. You got me.
He was the bodyguard for Jeffrey Epstein.
Shut the fucking front.
Swear to God.
Shut the front door.
Can you believe that?
Well,
Frank Shamrock ended Igor Zinoviev's career.
I do remember him.
When he picked him up and slammed him and knocked him out, broke his collarbone, separated.
Yes.
Right? And that was the end of his career. Yeah, then he became a bodyguard.
So where is he at now? Why can't we get him to define the Epstein list? Let's go.
Let's
call this motherfucker up.
I don't know. Yeah. So, but you had him, you had Igor Vovchanchyn, but Andre Semenov was the first one really after Igor Zinoviev in the UFC. That really was the Russian, this kid's good.
Yeah, but right? He was good. But remember the smaller one that fought Chuck Liddell was the better of
Oleg
the two.
Oleg Taktarov was the one, the first.
Yes.
And that's, you got to figure Oleg came in at UFC 6.
Mm-hmm. Who was the one that came with Andre Semenov? He was the smaller guy, fought Chuck Liddell.
Oh, Sulev.
Yeah. What was his first name?
Amir
Sulev. He was good, but he should have been a 70-pounder.
His nose went half.
Yeah, but he should have been a 70-pounder. He was so damn tight.
Oh, my God. He was.
I'm like, what are you doing fighting at 205?
Oh, dude, he fought at every weight. He was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have Oleg there.
Oleg was the first.
Yeah.
Amar Sulev. Okay, there you go. Look at that nose.
Look at how tiny he is, though.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and then Andre Semenov.
Yep. All from Red Devil Sport Club.
Yeah. Good God, man. Yeah. Those. Yeah, Frank Shamrock picked him up on a double leg and lifted and slammed him right on his head. Yeah.
That was Zinoviev, yeah.
Yeah, that guy could fucking fight. Yeah. Trevor fought him, I think, 3 times. Can you look it down? Scroll down. He fought Fioravante. Luigi Fioravante.
Oh, yeah.
He fought Luigi Fioravante.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
Dude, he fought them all. George Santiago, Trevor Prangley there, Dennis Kang. He fought everybody.
Yeah, I remember the Dennis Kang fight.
Yeah.
That was a great fight.
Remember Gregory? Okay, remember Gregory Babane from Bellator? From France?
Yes.
He fought freaking Andre Semenov.
Jeez. Scroll down more. Scroll down. Yeah, Trevor's there again. See, Trevor beat him two, maybe just 2 times. A draw with Dennis Kane and a draw with Mike Pyle. Man, that's some old school history.
Martin
right there.
Kampman,
Curtis Stout. Man,
see,
jeez, that's some old school stuff. M1 Global, I remember that. Yeah. Anyways, oh man, what is some history there? All right, let's go back to the fight card. I'm going to give a little love to Gil Melendez's guy, Jake Shield, Gil Melendez's guy there. Hyder Emil. Good fight, man. Kid's tough.
Yeah.
Kid's tough. Doesn't always fight the smartest.
And that was, I want to say, I think he had 3 opponent changes.
Yeah. I mean, it's never easy.
He ended up having his opponents fall out 1, 2. I think this was his 3rd here with Fernie Garcia taking it. So that's never an easy thing.
Oh.
It kind of gets to you, and he went out there and put on a good performance.
Good on him, man. Good. I thought he looked good. Did some good stuff. Has some heavy shots, man. He's got some big power. He's got some power for a little guy. But got to give him some love, man. Give him a little bit of love. All right, hey, that's going to wrap up our, what is this, Vegas 86? 87. Vegas
87, right, Dave?
86.
I was off.
Man.
Sorry.
Not a steel trap door anymore.
Wrong again.
Mine isn't what it used to be. All right, guys. Hey, before we leave, though, go to weighingInmerch.com, weighingInmerch.com. Pick up some of our hoodies, our sweaters, our apparel. Everything available out there. Winter season is coming to a close. So the hoodies are up and available for you guys. Up until then, got long sleeve shirts and short sleeve shirts available. So, and some hats as well. So check it out at weighingInmerch.com. Anything else, John?
Not for that. It's over. The UFC Fight Night 86 done. So now we can watch the Super Bowl.
Go Chiefs!